God knows right where you are now. You know it's all in his hands now. Because he cares for you, always cares for you. You know he'll see you through. He's always there for you. Give all your worries and your cares to God, for he cares about you. God cares about you. Give all your worries and your cares to God, for he cares about you. God cares so much about you. What are you worried about now? Trying to figure it out now. God knows right where you are now. You know it's all in his hands now. Because he cares for you, always cares for you. You know he'll see you through. He's always there for you. Give all your worries and your cares to God, for he cares about you. God cares about you. Give all your worries and your cares to God, for he cares about you. God cares so much about you. Give all your worries and your cares to God, for he cares about you. God cares about you. Give all your worries and your cares to God, for he cares about you. God cares so much about you.
A Hall of Fame is a place that honors people that are exceptional at what they do. It exists to remind future generations of the greatness of these people from the past. Did you know that God has a Hall of Fame to remember the extraordinary people of faith who were written about in the Old Testament? And we can find that Hall of Fame in the New Testament of the Bible. Hebrews 11 tells us that faith is the confidence that what we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about things we cannot see. This faith is what gave people in the old days great fame. This faith is what puts them in God's Hall of Fame. By faith, Abel gave his best to God. By faith, Enoch walked with God and was a friend of God. By faith, Noah listened to God, obeyed God, trusted God, and did what's right. It was by faith that Abraham followed God, and that even Sarah, Abraham's wife, believed that God would keep his promise. It was by faith that Isaac promised blessings for the future to his sons, Jacob and Esau. And by faith, Jacob blessed his sons and worshiped God. By faith, Joseph believed that God would guide him and see him through every troubled time. By faith, Moses looked forward to the great reward that God had in store for him and led the people of Israel out of captivity. It was by faith that Rahab was not destroyed with the people in her city who refused to obey God. And it was by faith that Joshua led the people of Israel. All of these people became famous for their faith, yet none of them received all that God had promised. For God has planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect. So since God has given us his Hall of Fame of people who have gone before us and had great faith despite hard times, let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who makes our faith perfect, so that one day God may say, "Well done, good and faithful servant," and we may be initiated into his great Hall of Fame.
The Bible is full of stories of people who showed their faith in God by believing him and trusting him enough to act. If you want to read some of these stories for yourself, one of the best places to start is the Faith Hall of Fame in the book of Hebrews. This is a list of the most faith-filled people in the Bible, like Noah. By faith, he built an ark and saved his family and 2 of every animal from a giant flood. Abraham is on the list too. He followed God to a land he'd never seen, trusting that this place would become a home for him and his children and grandchildren. Abraham's wife Sarah was able to have a son, even though she was very old. Moses did all kinds of faith-filled things. He chose to be mistreated with his people. He left the comforts of Egypt and led others to celebrate God's goodness every year. Rahab saved her life by welcoming God's people instead of seeing them as enemies. These are just a few of the people in the Hall of Fame. All of them were people who trusted God and showed courage even when it was difficult. Sometimes life is hard. We mess up, sin, and struggle to follow Jesus. The people in the Faith Hall of Fame know what that feels like. They all messed up or faced hard times too, but they still chose faith, and we can choose it too. How can we do that? We lay down the heavy things we're carrying, like sin or worries. Give all of that to Jesus and look to him. He's the best example of a faith-filled life we can find. He died for our sins and rose from the grave. And when we remember what he went through, we find the courage we need to keep going.